Hello, welcome to A Maker's Studio. I'm Cheryl. I create over on the Home of My Making Facebook page, but I'm here today to show you this fabulous stencil that was just released recently for Christmas. So as you guys hop on, let me know you're here and let me know where you're watching from. So I'm going to start today with this wooden tray. Now I purchased this tray at the Dollar Tree. My Dollar Tree happens to have a $3 and $5 section. This was $5 and we are going to kick it up a notch. So first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to take some Hazel Mahogany stain in the Maker's Studio line, and I did transfer it to a little cup, and I like doing that because it's just easier for me to work out of. So I'm going to apply this Hazel Mahogany stain with a foam brush. Now you're going to be able to get all these products. It's up in the description section of this tutorial, and you'll see everything that I used on this project. If you've never worked with the gel stain in the Maker's Studio line, don't be intimidated. It's a great product to use on your crafting projects, and it does give, I think, a higher end look. Something like this from the Dollar Tree that is just a wooden surface, I like using stain on because it gives it another element of design when you put the stain on wood, and it gives a different appearance than an opaque look with like chalk-based paint. This stain also has a citrus smell, and that smell, instead of having like a toxic smell, it's fabulous. So what I'm going to do is, once I get that all done, if I find sometimes I can't get into the corners of something like this, I actually take a little Q-tip just to get into the corners of wood or any corner in any project. I always think you need some Q-tips and some toothpicks in your crafting. I am going to take a lint-free rag, and I'm just going to get off the excess. Now this is a water-based stain, so it does dry pretty quick. See how that stain then gives you the detail in the wood? I love that. I love that. It's always a surprise when you're staining wood to see what the stain is going to grab and what the wood grain is going to look like. So I do want to stain the rest of this board. I do have to get into the handles. And if you just hopped on, welcome. Let us know where you're watching from. And let us know if you've ever used the gel stain in your creations. I do use it a lot on my page. I think it just gives another level to your projects. Again, if you have the wood grain, it just gives it a little bit more detail. I am going to take this lint-free rag, and I did do the bottom of it before I got on just to save some time. See how you never know how the stain is going to take and then what wood grain is going to peek through? See how that looks fabulous? It just gives more detail without even doing anything but stain. Especially on your Dollar Tree surfaces, because you never really know how it's going to look. But I just think that grain of the wood just gives a lot of detail, that if you were to paint it, it would hide all that detail. So just applying this Hazel Mahogany stain with a foam brush. And I wish you guys could smell it on this end, because Like I said, the stain has a citrus scent. So when you're doing crafting in your house, you don't have that like toxic chemical stain smell. So that's why I like using it. Again, if you can't get into these little corners over here, I do take just a little on my Q-tip and get into these little corners. I do the same thing if I'm using the one-step paint. Sometimes my brushes just don't get into the little corners. And once again, you could find all these products that I'm using in the description of this tutorial when you get off. And don't forget to tag 3 friends and share this tutorial, and you will be in the giveaway for the stencil that I'm about to show you. Okay, let me see if I have any spots that I missed. And then I have to go back and just go over it with a lint-free rag to remove any excess. Now, like I said, this is a water-based stain, so it does dry pretty quick. Of course, normally on my tutorials, I do use a heating tool to dry it, but that is not necessary for this. I missed that whole side. Not necessary for this project or this product. I just do it when I'm on a live because speed it up. But like I said, it is a water-based stain, so you could just put it to the side, let it air dry, and then continue on with your project. But I normally hit it with a heating tool just to get to the next part of the project, but not because it's part of the process. I'm just going to see if I have all my corners done and the lip of this little handle. Now again, if you just hopped on, this was from the Dollar Tree, this tray. You can find stuff like this at Hobby Lobby, so, you know, go where you have in your neighborhood. So let me get that all done. Did we get it all? Let's see, maybe just a little bit down here. It's always crazy to see how the stain takes in various parts of the wood. But see all that detail down there? You won't get that with just an opaque chalk-based paint. So just a simple project, sometimes with your stain, it just gives it a little bit more detail. I'm gonna go ahead and dry this. Let me just get a couple of spots. And just make sure I have all the excess off. I'm going to move this out of my way so I don't spill it. I am going to hit it with a heating tool. It's not part of the process, like I said, but I do need to get to the next part of the project, so this is just going to speed it up. Again, the gel stain is a water-based stain, and it dries pretty quick. Look at the rich color. This is called Hazel Mahogany. We have a lot of different stain colors here at a Maker's Studio. So check them out when you see the products in the description. Of course, it always dries a little bit lighter. Okay, so let's see what we have here. So stain the whole entire tray. Again, this was a $5 tray from the Dollar Tree. So next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take the one-step paint in the black And I do always transfer it just to a little container. It's just easier for me to work out of. And then if I make a mess of the container, I could eventually throw it out. I'm gonna put it again on this little tray. Now I'm gonna take a chip brush. And I like chip brushes because it's gonna give me a little bit of detail. So I'm going to put the chip brush into the paint and I'm gonna offload it onto this little tray. And what I want to do is get that piece of hair off of there. I'm just going to take long swipes. Because this is a chip brush, it's going to give me a little bit of detail as far as not giving me full coverage if I don't want it. I can keep going over and get full coverage, but I'm gonna see how this ends up. Again, offload it so you don't get a big old blob of it. And once you like the appearance of how this looks, you could stop, or if you want it more coverage, keep going. Now I am doing the black over the Hazel Mahogany. I would suggest black or white because it's the contrast. So if you follow me over on the Home on My Making page, you know Bauhaus Buff is one of my favorite colors. I'm gonna turn it another way so that my strokes are not the same, and I'm gonna go over it. Just take a little bit more. And just keep going back and forth till you get the desired effect that you want. Now, if you don't like this look, you can do the whole inset of this, the whole entire black. So see how I just have that? I do have some areas that are a negative space, and I'm okay with that. Just gonna give me a different look. I just like the edges to seem a little bit less color. In this case, it's the black. Okay, so what I'm gonna do, I got it to where I like it. I'm gonna move this, I'm gonna hit it with a heat gun again, just to continue on to the next part of the project. Again, this one-step paint is a chalk-based paint, so it is a water-based paint, and it definitely dries quick, probably 20 minutes. If you don't have a heating tool, just let it dry before you get to the next part of this project. So far, if you just hopped on, welcome, welcome, welcome. I'm Cheryl from over on the Home on My Making Facebook page. I took this Dollar Tree $5 tray and I covered it with the Hazel Mahogany stain first. And then I took the black one-step paint and just did a little kind of a dry brush effect on the insert. See how you could see some of that stain coming through? I love that. A piece of hair. Definitely need that dry to continue to the next step. Again, you could just wait 20 minutes and it'll dry. And the same thing with your stain, because they're both a water-based product and it just could air dry very quickly. So look at this stencil. I love this stencil, the detail. This is called Winter Scene. Look at all the detail of that. You see the snow in the background, you see the trees, the sleigh, the horses. Now, one thing I like about this particular stencil, and don't forget to tag 3 friends and share this tutorial and you will be in the giveaway for this stencil. One thing I like about this stencil, my opinion is I think it should be one color. Because there's so much detail in this, I like it to be just one color so that you could see all the detail. So if you're new to the Make Your Studio line of stencils, they are a tri-mesh adhesive stencil. They come in these little sleeves with this backing. Definitely keep that whole little sleeve, because that's where you're going to store your stencils. This is the perfect way to store your stencils, is in that flat sleeve with that little cardboard backing. Now, they are a tri-mesh adhesive stencil. It does come on another backing, which again, you'd want to keep that backing, because that's where you want to put your stencil after you clean it, and then you'd put it back into that sleeve. And that's the proper way to maintain these stencils, so that they will be reusable over and over again. Wait till you see all the detail in this particular stencil. I think that's straight. This is going to be the star of the project. So I am going to use the Well I Declare Gel Art ink in this project. Because I do believe it should be one color, this is the white gel art ink, I am going to take a spreader that I have cut a little bit smaller. I like to cut them just to have a little bit more control. So since these are adhesive, you adhere it down to whatever surface you are applying it to. Make sure it's flush with whatever surface. Take some of your gel art ink out of your tube and apply it to your spreader. I'm afraid it's going to pop out. There it is. Just like that. And now just scrape it along the top of your stencil. You could hear that scraping, and you could see the design come to life as I go over the stencil. Just making sure I get all the detail. Because the background is black, I am pretty sure I could see where I miss spots if I see the black coming through. There is so much detail in this stencil. I want to get every bit of it. Again, I think this is one of those stencils that just needs one color, and in this case it's the Well I Declare Gel Art ink. Again, you could find all the supplies that I used up in the description of this tutorial to check it out. Definitely check out this stencil. This winter scene is fabulous. Just going over, making sure you get your edges, just to make sure that all that detail is there. I'm going to turn it my way just to make sure I completed it and got all the graphic. Love it. So these are reusable and washable. I do have a bowl of water sitting next to me, but let me show you how you are to clean these stencils. So you're going to lift it off of the surface. Look at all that detail. Look at all that detail. It is crazy. It's got such a vintage feel too, the graphics in here. So let me show you. See all that gel art ink that's in the stencil right now? What you would do is you want to go run this under some tap water, and you can really use your hand and just get that product out of there. Once all that product is out of there and that white is gone, go ahead and lay it sticky side up on a clean cloth. Let it air dry. Try not to pat it on this sticky side. And the reason being is because that's the reusable adhesive side. So if you were to pat it, any kind of fiber that gets on there will impede the next time you go to use it. Just let it air dry upside down. Then you'll want to put it back on this backing that originally came on, and then slide it back into your sleeve, and that's how you maintain these stencils. So look at the detail. That's a very, very, very simple project. All I did was use the gel stain on a tray in the Hazel Mahogany. I did a black dry brush behind the scene, and then I used the white gel art ink in Well I Declare. So you could see all that detail. There you go. That stencil is really the star of this project. So Again, every product also that I used on here is permanent. There's no reason to seal it. If you want, you could come back with a sealer, but there is no reason to seal it. The gel art ink, the One Step paint, and the stain are all permanent. So what do you think, guys? This is going to look great in my house. So thank you for joining me today. Don't forget to tag 3 friends and share this tutorial, and you will be in the giveaway for this fabulous stencil. All that detail. That's one thing that's great about a tri-mesh adhesive stencil, is you get all that detail. So go ahead and look in the description and check out the products. I'm Cheryl from Home Am I Making. Come over there and check out some more Maker Studio projects that I do on my page, and I'll see you again real soon. Thanks for joining me, guys.